Good morning students. Welcome to online teaching class. This is your Devi ma'am, AVS teacher. And last class we have discussed about what are the solid, liquid and gases. And today we will see about the overall recap of this chapter. Okay. So this is a very important chapter. So I am repeating the same thing as a recap. So listen the class carefully. So first, what do you mean by the term matter? So what is a matter? Anything which occupies space and mass. It is called as a matter. So the matter, they are available in three forms: solid, liquid and gases. So whatever the things that are surrounded us, they are made up of either solid, liquid and gases. So today first we will learn about the solid character. So most of the things around us, they are made up of the solids, right? Brick, walls, cupboard, chair, everything it is made up of the solid. So what are the solid characters? So the particle that made up a solid, how they are arranged? They are very tightly packed with each other and they cannot move easily. So first point, the solid, they will have the fixed shape and a fixed volume. So sometimes what happens when you apply the pressure, the shape of the solid may change. But what happens again, they will come back to the original position. And solid, they do not flow, but they cannot be poured into the container also. So the solid has a defined volume, that is, volume is the amount of space that an object occupies. So what are the example of this solid? Book, chairs and pencil. So what are the solid character? The particles, they are tightly packed with each other. So they have the rigid shape. So by applying some force, what will happen? The shape of the solid will change. And then the solid does not flow and they cannot be poured into the container. And then the solid has a definite volume. Volume means what? The amount of space that an object occupies. What are the examples? Books, chairs and pencils. Then coming to the liquid characters. Here the particles means what? The particles that cannot be seen with our naked eye. So these particles that make up the liquid, they are not closely packed together. So they can move around more than the solids. Compared to the solids, they will move around more. And then they do not have the fixed shape, but they will have the fixed volume. So another one property, liquid can usually flow from one place to another. Due to the space between them, they will easily flow from one place to another. And we can able to pour them into container also. So examples, water, fruit juice, honey and milk. These are all the examples of the liquids. Then talking about the gases, compared to solid and liquids, the gases, they are loosely packed with each other and they can move around very freely. So what are the characters? They have no shape and they do not have the volume. So they occupy all the space in the container. So the gas can also easily flow from one place to another. So air which we are breathing, it is made up of the different gases. Example, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, etc. So these are the characters of solid, liquid and gases. Then change of the state. What do you mean by the change of the state? There are three states I told, right? Solid, liquid and gases. How they are changing that state? How the solid is converted into liquid and how the liquid is converted into the gases. So there are some important processes out there. So first one, it is called as a solidification. So for converting one state to another, we need only two processes. Either we have to heat them or we have to cool them. So in the solidification process, when the liquid can be changed into solid on cooling, it is called as a solidification. The process by which the liquid changes into the solid on cooling, it is called as a solidification. So a better example, it is making of the ice. So how the ice is made? When the water we are putting in the freezer. After some hours what will happen? That liquid water can be converted into the ice. So water in liquid form and then ice in solid form. On cooling process they are converted into the solid. So this is called as a solidification process. And another example is that water dripping from the buildings or from the leaves and branches of the trees. It is also an example for the solidification. That is the extra water. Whether the plants or building, the extra water, they can be converted into the solid by means of the solidification process. And then next one, it is called as a melting process. What do you mean by the melting? The solid that is changed into liquid on heating. How the solid is converted into liquid? By means of heating. It is called as a melting process. So example, it is called as a melting of butter and ice melting. Now take an ice. Ice is said to be the solid, right? Now heat that ice. What will happen? The ice can be converted into the liquid by means of the heating process. Now take the butter from the refrigerator. Butter is in solid form, right? Now heat that one. After some time what will happen? The butter, it can be converted into the liquid by means of the heating process. So this one, it is called as a melting, where the solid completely converted into liquid by applying the heat. It is called as a melting process. And then third one, it is called as a vaporization. What is a vaporization? Where the liquid can be converted into the gases. Okay, so it is called as a vaporization. So this happens mainly by means of the two ways. First one, it is called as an evaporation, and second one, it is called as a boiling. How can it happen? Either by the evaporation process or by the boiling process. So during evaporation, what will happen? So the liquid changes into the gas by the surface of the liquid at any temperature. Okay, simple. In our home, take a container, put some water into that one. Now heat that one. What will happen? Slowly the liquid water is converted into the gases. When the liquid completed the particular temperature, the water automatically they are converted into the gases. So that process, it is called as a evaporation process. And then liquid, that is the boiling process. The liquid changes into the gases when it is heated up to the certain temperature. It is called as a boiling point, where the liquid started converting into the gas at particular temperature. That temperature, it is called as a boiling point. Okay, I'm repeating again. Listen students, there is a quite confusion between evaporation and boiling. So evaporation means at particular temperature the liquid started changes into gas. That is called as evaporation. Boiling means a stage where the liquid boils into gas at a particular temperature. It is called as a boiling point. Okay, so up to now what we have seen, four processes we have seen. First one, solidification. Second, melting. Third, vaporization. In vaporization we have seen evaporation and boiling. And next we will see about what do you mean by the term condensation. Okay, the process by which a gas is changed into the liquid on cooling. It is called as a condensation process. Okay, better example, droplets coming from the water. That is a take a glass and pour some cold water. What will happen? You can able to see some water droplets on the outside surface of the glass due to the process of condensation only. The gases which is present inside that liquid on cooling, they will come out. This process, it is called as a condensation process. And then we are going to learn about what do you mean by the term solute, solvent and solution. So first roughly I am telling, listen. Solute means what? To make a solution, I am going to make a 100 ml sugar solution. Okay, for that I have taken 70 ml of water and 25 gram of sugar. Here, which is the largest amount? 75 ml of water is the largest amount. So that is called as a solvent. And 25 gram of sugar we are taking, that is the smallest quantity, that is called as a solute. So the solute should dissolve in the solvent to form a solution. Now an activity I have kept here. So now I am going to take a glass of the water. In that water I am going to put 1 teaspoon of sugar and I am going to stir well. After some time what will happen? The sugar will dissolve, right? Now you may ask the question, ma'am, where the sugar gone? Because the gap present in the water, the sugar will go and occupy that space because the sugar is soluble in the water. So a solution is formed when 2 or more substances they mix together uniformly. So here 75 ml is said to be water and 25 gram is said to be a solute, that is the sugar. When they evenly dissolve with each other, it will form a sugar solution. Now see the last sentence. The substance in which the solute gets dissolved, it is called as a solvent. Usually the solute is a smaller quantity and the solvent is said to be the largest quantity. So here sugar is said to be the solute and water is said to be the solvent. Okay, the same is depend how exactly do solute and solvent mix together. When sugar is added to the water, the particles will scatter, right? So inside the water, the tiny empty spaces will be there. These sugar particles, they go and fill up that places. Okay. And the next one, what do you mean by the term soluble and the insoluble substance? As I before told, what is a soluble? What are the things that are soluble in the water? Okay, they are called as a soluble substance. Example, sugar, salt and water. Insoluble substance means that do not dissolve in any solvent. Either it may be a water, it may be an oil, anything it will be. The substance which do not dissolve in water, it is called as an insoluble substance. Example, sand and water. Sand will not mix with the water and wax also will not mix with the water. You may ask the question, ma'am, here it is a solid, right? Sugar is a solid, salt is a solid, sand is a solid and wax is a solid. Suppose if it is a liquid, what will happen? You may ask that question. So for that answer, some liquids do not dissolve in each other, right? So they are called as an immiscible liquid. Example, if we take an oil and water, both are liquids, right? Pour some water in the oil, what will happen? They do not mix with each other, right? That liquids, they are called as an immiscible liquid. Miscible liquid means when two liquids, they dissolve in each other. That is milk and water. Pour water in the milk, what will happen? They will dissolve with each other, right? So they are the example of the miscible liquid. So soluble substance means which are soluble in the water. Example, salt and sugar in water. Insoluble means they do not dissolve in the water or any solvent. Example, sand and water or sand and wax. And there are two type of liquids, miscible liquid and the immiscible liquid. Immiscible means some liquids do not dissolve in each other. They are called as an immiscible liquids. When two liquids dissolve in each other, they are called as an miscible liquid. And then three important process we are going to see. One is called as a filtration, second one is called as a sedimentation, and third one is called as a decantation. Now you can say, ma'am, suppose if any two substances are mixed with each other, how I can able to separate them? Okay, now I am taking the sand and water. I am going to mix with each other. What is the process name? It is called as a sedimentation and decantation. Now I want a tea to drink. How can be separated from the tea leaves? By the filtration method. So there are some methods used to separate the substance. So first method, it is called as a filtration. So it is a process by which the insoluble substance, they can be separated from a mixture using the filter paper. So filter paper is one special type of paper which has a tiny holes in it. Only liquid can pass through them and the solid will settle at the top. Now see, when a mixture of sand and water is poured on the filter paper, what will happen? Only the water will pass at the filter paper, the sand will be present at the top. Similarly, chalk, sawdust, they can also be separated by the water by the same method. So next one is called as in sedimentation and decantation method. So for this one activity I have described before itself. Simple, to observe the process of sedimentation and decantation, we need 2 transparent glasses, some soil or sand, a spoon and water. Now what you are going to do, take a glass of water, put some soil there. Now stir with a spoon. What will happen? After some time, the water will settle at the bottom and the clear water will present at the top. So without disturbing the sand, take the clear water and then put the sand in that same bowl itself. So what you will observe, you can use the process of sedimentation and decantation to separate the insoluble soil particles from the water. Okay, so these are all the recap of this chapter. Once the school has opened, we will start doing some activity regarding this chapter. Okay, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.